It's the Jack and Nick Horror Show.
What was that?
I don't know. L'chaim. No, wait, I'm not Jewish.
You're not?
No, definitely not.
Ah. Hey, what? Hi, Nick.
Hi, Jack.
It's been a while, man.
Yeah, I guess so. Stupid holidays ruining our podcast.
I know. It's okay though, but we're gonna do one tonight.
Oh,
Yes,
I didn't realize.
We are. We're
All right.
Yeah.
How about if we're gonna do a podcast, we should discuss our horror remix ideas that everybody sent to us from last week, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We should talk about a movie. What movie do you think we should talk about?
I think The Shining. Oh no, we talked about The Shining last episode.
Yeah, we already did The Shining.
How about we? Well, you suggested a movie that we do this week, and that was
Oh, right, House of the Devil.
House of the Devil.
How wonderful. And also we should it is holiday season.
It
Even
is.
though Thanksgiving just passed, we're in between Thanksgiving and the other 2, 3, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great to have turkey around the holidays. So we're going to discuss our favorite turkey movies, which is the movie that kind of sucks that you still love because you don't have good taste. People sent these in. We're going to discuss ours along with their suggestions. If you want to join the discussion with this show, follow us on Facebook. Look up Jack and Nick Horror Show. Follow us on Twitter at Jack and Nick Show. Where else are we? We're on YouTube.
We're on
You
YouTube.
can go watch us on YouTube. If you want to comment on there, I'll try and round up those comments too.
Yeah.
So come and see what we're going to talk about next week. We don't have our next episode. Sorry, it's not next week. It'll be in 2 weeks. But
It'll probably be filled with holiday cheer.
right. It probably will be. I'm hoping.
I
really
hope so
hoping.
too. Me too.
But yeah, come subscribe, like, and share this video wherever you can so we can all play together.
Do that. All right, let's start this episode.
Go ahead.
Horror Movie Reality Mix.
So last episode we did horror movie remix where we gave our own opinions on The Shining, and the votes have come in. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Then we also asked the listeners to give us their own remixes. And what a remix is they're your own retelling of a classic film.
Like who should remake it today?
Right, and who would star in it.
Right.
So, first and foremost, what happened with the votes, Nick? Who won that?
Last episode, you chose to have the movie be remade by, was it Guillermo del Toro?
Fuck no.
No? Who was that?
No. It was Panos Cosmatos, the guy that made Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Oh, I forgot.
And Michael Keaton.
And I chose Rob Zombie. I said that Rob Zombie should remake it with his regular cast. We asked people to vote on which one was better, and people chose mine by one vote.
Yep. We got thousands upon thousands of
Oh, yeah,
votes.
thousands upon thousands of entries telling us how great we were. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks to all the millions of... Okay. But no, thanks, guys. I really appreciate you not voting for me. Go fuck yourselves. That's one. I'll put a quarter in the curse jar.
But anyway, we asked you to send in your ideas, your remixes of The Shining, and we have them all here. We got them from Facebook and Twitter.
And I know who voted against me, so I'm not going to be choosing yours. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Thank you for the feedback. It was much appreciated.
I think I caught everybody. So let's go down these remixes. Do you want to start first on Facebook?
Yes, I do. But I do want to mention that's kind of crazy that with all the hate that Zombie gets, Zombie wins for
Probably
remake.
because nobody else has seen Beyond the Black Rainbow.
That could be. But, I mean, just watch the trailer. You'll see what I'm saying. All right. Douglas Barnett. He said that, well, he just subscribed. Thank you, Douglas. But director John Eric Dowdle, he directed The Devil and Quarantine. As in the Dowdle brothers. He chose Jennifer Carpenter as Wendy Torrance, Hugh Darcy as Jack Torrance, and Forrest Whitaker as Dick Halloran. Danny would be some unknown kid.
It is really hard to pick child actors because
it really is. Yeah, there aren't too many good ones. Because and the child actors are listening to us. I like that one, but I don't know if I love that one. I do like the Dowdle brothers. I have not seen As Above, So Below. You have, Nick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, what do you think of that one?
I thought it was really good. I can't see now. The thing with Dowdle is that the movies that they've done have been like much smaller movies, Right. As Above, So Below works because it's sort of like this tightly claustrophobic underground movie. I guess you could expand that enough to turn it into a hotel. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting idea, at least. Like, I can't imagine it not working. Although, and you know what? I also like that he picked Jennifer Carpenter because just like what's her head, Shelley Long.
Mm-hmm.
What's her name? Which one?
Shelley Duvall.
Shelley Duvall. I can't look at Jennifer Carpenter's face. It's asymmetrical and weird.
Yeah, so. I think I had to look up the Jack Torrance one. I think it's Hugh Dancy. Maybe it was a misspelling from Hannibal. I have not watched Hannibal. I apologize, but I'm looking at the guy's face, and yeah, I could see it. I could see him doing that.
So I'm going to read the next one.
But thank you, Douglas. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks to everybody who actually.
Thank you for subscribing too.
Here's Dave Z on Facebook wrote, "The Shining is my favorite movie, and you guys have been putting in good shows, so thanks. Here is my Shining remix. Director, Spike Lee. Summer of Sand, The Sweet Blood of Jesus. Need I say more?"
Yes.
For Jack, hang on, I love this. For Jack, Samuel L. Jackson. An older guy with bad luck. Why not? Wendy would be played by Juliette Lewis. Danny would be Haley Joel Osment. No, not the little kid we all know and love from The Sixth Sense, but him now, older and fat. He could be adopted and autistic. Oh, ouch. Oh. Dick would be played by Cheech Marin. Seems friendly, but with a bit of a wild side. I think it would be cool to have him come in saying, "Hello, anybody there?" over and over again, like Scatman did, but with his Latino accent. And the score would be done by Danny Elfman.
That is the most schizophrenic Shining.
Yes. Spike Lee and Danny Elfman, they just don't meld well together.
No, you know what the problem is? That with most of Spike Lee's movies, that movie would just have like a non-ending. Yeah,
An ambiguous ending.
It would just be he doesn't even have ambiguous endings. It's just his movies are like you're having sex, and then you just stop, and you're like, I'm done.
I was afraid of where that analogy.
No, that's where I wasn't going to get graphic. It's just one of those.
You know what I think the ending would be? For no reason, Samuel L. Jackson gets shot by the police.
That would probably happen.
Wait, in real life or in the movie? You sounded convinced.
No, here, I'll give you a prime example of a Spike Lee ending. Are you ready for the Spike Lee ending?
Okay.
All right, so Sean Kelly writes, director Ty West's That's not the ending. That's I'm going on.
Yes, I understand.
You get it? You see what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I get it.
I'm smart.
Right.
Right. I'm not smart. Okay, director Ty West, Jack Torrance. I always have a problem with this motherfucker's name. I apologize. It's Chiwetel Ejiofor. Yeah,
I think.
Motherfucker.
What is he in that we can compare? Say it's that guy.
He was. What the hell was he?
I don't know
in?
what he's in.
He's. What the fuck was it?
It was just. Oh wait, was it 12 Years a Slave?
It was 12 Years a Slave. Yeah, but wasn't he in something else that? What the fuck was it?
I don't know. Well, he was in 12 Years a Slave, and he was in something else recently, like this week that just came out.
Children of Men, isn't it? Children of Men.
I don't know.
I think he was in Children of Men. But yes, I could. Okay. There's some movie where there's a girl in the woods and he's there, and there's some other dude.
12 Years a Slave.
No, it's not 12 Years a Slave. I don't know. No, or is it? There was a girl in the woods, and then he shows up, and then there's this other guy, and one of them might be a psychopath. I don't know. It looked interesting, but he looked really good in it. Okay. Wendy Torrance. Thandie Newton, who I haven't seen in too many movies. I saw her in that really bad Simon Pegg movie, How to Lose Friends and Alienate People. If you want to know the answer to that, just do a podcast. And Dick Halloran. Dude, the movie sucked so much dick. Speaking of Dick Halloran would be played by Tom Noonan. I really like the angle of Ty West, like with Tom Noonan, because he does like to use the same actors here and there. Mm-hmm. But I like the black angle, like the black couple angle. I really think that's cool.
Well, I actually think that this is probably my favorite one so far.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that, and I mean, it's because I'm a Ty West shill, and I think him having sort of like an offbeat, unexpected cast would make a really good movie.
Mm-hmm. And I think it would be a good movie where he is into the slow burn thing, but I think that Ty West would be able to ramp up the horror and kind of prove himself a little bit further for those that doubt his greatness.
Right.
That he may possess. I'm not saying he's the best director ever, but he's a very good director.
Right, but he makes crap sometimes too, so.
Yeah, everybody does. I mean, depends on the morning.
Right.
Who's next, Nick?
Next up, Dylan wrote in.
Oh, thank you, Sean, by the way.
Yes. Dylan wrote in, the director should be Christopher Nolan. Jack would be played by Leonardo DiCaprio. Wendy would be played by Amy Adams. And Dick would be played by Idris Elba, which would kick so much ass. Idris Elba would kick so much ass in that role. The other
maybe
stuff,
Idris Elba as Jack. Hey, go on.
Yeah, he could be. Well, he could be anything in any movie. He could play Jason Voorhees, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's great." He could play Jason's mom, and I'd be like, "That's great." No, probably not.
Let's see. Who's newcomer? Every time you say Jack, I go, what? I feel like saying fun.
No.
I mean, Christopher Nolan, I don't know if he... I mean, he'd make a damn good movie. He makes a damn good movie pretty much all the time. But it might be... I would see a more grounded in reality Shining with him. Sort of.
Maybe. I don't know, dude.
I don't know. I mean, DiCaprio, he could play anything. Just about.
Yeah, pretty much. Do you want to read the next one?
I mean, would you choose Nolan's over Ty West?
No, but I'd like Idris Elba over anyone else playing Dick. So that's now better than any ideas I had, I guess.
Yep. Sean, we might take Tom Noonan out of your equation and put Idris in there. The big Driz.
I'm going to read a real quick one from Twitter.
Okay.
Popcorn Jacks wrote in
Uh-huh.
and said, I think Guillermo del Toro would be great to direct. He didn't give us a cast because it's Twitter and you don't have that many characters, so,
Right.
Anyway.
That's a good segue.
Yeah. Anyway, so Guillermo del Toro, and yes, read the next one.
That's Danny Thiebert.
You don't have to worry about the last name.
Well, I mean, okay. If you don't want us to read the last name, let us know.
Yeah, don't write in on Facebook then.
So director is Guillermo. I'm not going to read the last name. Jack is Javier. Wendy.
Javier Bardem.
Just fucking with you.
I know.
Wendy is Rosario Dawson. Yeah, Dawson. Her name is very... my tongue gets twisted when I say it. Rosario Dawson. There we go. Danny Torrance, possibly a new actress. Maybe someone similar in disposition to Ophelia from Pan's Labyrinth. I always have to say Pan's Labyrinth that way. It's the way Salma Hayek read it at the Oscars. Pan's Labyrinth. Dick Halloran, Quentin Tarantino. Hotel manager, Stephen King.
Oh, that's great. Well, the hotel manager pretty much almost is played. Like, that's the perfect Stephen King cameo part, right? But, yeah, Quentin Tarantino is Dick Halloran.
It's fucking beautiful.
That's great.
And over here, okay? Do you like ice cream, Danny? Okay?
Oh, man, that's a good one. I like that one.
And, like, he just, like, throws his fingers around, pointing all over the place as he's talking. I don't know. I mean, Guillermo would turn it into a fairy tale. I like Guillermo, but I don't know if he'd be able to. I mean, he'd do a damn good job. I mean, the guy's a tremendous horror fan, but I'm not sure.
Dude, I saw Crimson Peak and I wasn't happy with it. So,
well, I mean,
I'm kind of like, I'm at the point with Guillermo del Toro where I'm like, is he actually good? And I know that sounds insane, but like, I mean, good at directing. Because, like, okay, you think about the stuff he's done, and if you look at, like, everything he's done and been involved with, from a production standpoint, it's all got, like, awesome design, awesome look and stuff, but, I mean, the movies he's produced and had a heavy hand of being a part of,
mm-hmm.
They've been up and down all over, man. Because, like, all right, what's that one? Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. That one's terrible. Mama is middling. El Orfanato is great. The other ones that he's done, when you look at the movies that he's done, Crimson Peak was like not very good at all. I know that there's some people who really like it, and it's not a horror movie. That's one of the reasons why we didn't even touch it for this show was it was really put out there to be like a horror movie, and it was totally advertised wrong. It was like a ghost movie that was also a romance and also a period piece and also just kind of boring but completely gorgeous. And I was totally disappointed by that movie. And there's been a few others in there, like, I mean, then I love Pacific Rim, but I can't say that, like, he was good at, like, having characters in it, because what I love about Pacific Rim is giant monster robots beating each other,
Monster robots.
Dude, that movie's wonderful. I don't care what you say. I love it. But then you look at the other movies he's been involved in and produced and wrote, like the Hobbit movies, and they're so bad that I wanted to like stab myself. And granted, he jumped out before production began, but you can tell that like he was heavily involved in those movies, and they kind of suck. Then the Hellboy movies are great. So I don't know. I'm torn on Guillermo.
Blade 2 is good.
Blade 2 is good.
I liked
Blade 1, but that's a personal thing.
I still have to watch Chronos and Devil's Backbone. I
have not seen that stuff. I heard Devil's Backbone wasn't good, but I don't know.
I heard it's really good. And I heard Chronos is fantastic, too.
Yeah, but I mean, almost every movie that I've mentioned just now, when I went through his whole thing, how many of them have you heard like really good stuff about and really bad stuff about, like the same movie? You know?
Well, I mean, we hear about that for pretty much all horror movies these days. So.
Right, but I mean him especially. Like he's like a polarizing guy, but that you don't realize is polarizing because everybody agrees that he makes beautiful movies. It's just, what are they? You know?
Right.
Same thing kind of happens with like Zack Snyder, where like some people hate Watchmen. I love Watchmen. You know?
I thought that was an enjoyable movie.
Yeah, but there's people who hate it. And,
oh yeah, because they're purists and.
Well, it's the same thing with like
World War Z. Yeah.
Man of Steel. He didn't make World War Z.
No, I'm saying just being a purist. You know, if you like something one way and
but I'm trying to talk about Zack Snyder.
Right.
Zack Snyder, Man of Steel. I really didn't like. Other people really liked. So he makes great visuals no matter what. So,
I'm sure it was better than Superman Returns. So.
Back to this.
Back to this shit. So, okay, here we go. Who do you got next?
I'm going to read Bill C. He wrote in the
Pessinelli.
I'm not going to do last name. Roman Polanski for the director, and he added, for no reason, screw Ty West, that overrated, talentless hack. So, sorry about tonight's episode, Bill, where we will be talking about a Ty West movie that we both love.
Yeah, I wonder if in his mind, like, Ty West got the job, but then he was fired because he's a talentless hack and replaced by Roman Polanski, who diddled a girl. Go on.
Oh.
He'll never get over that, dude.
I'm never getting over that. Jack would be played by Gary Oldman. Wendy by Barbara Crampton. I assume he's using like time travel versions of these people, unless he wants them to be like old, than like 60-year-olds. I don't know. And Dick would be played by Morgan Freeman, of course. Which, good casting on that one.
I like how he has he beats out Gary Oldman. He beats out Kevin Spacey for me in playing crazy well, and like
what happened?
No, it just cracks me up. He's like, screw Ty West. There's no Ty West. And now Gary Oldman beats out Kevin Spacey. I guess Kevin Spacey tried out for his remake and didn't get the part. Barbara Crampton, the novel described her as being pretty, so I have no idea how Shelley Duvall was cast.
And then he wrote, I don't have any good child actors since Haley Joel Osment grew up, so I have no one in mind to play Danny. We'll just use a time travel version of Haley Joel Osment as well.
Yeah.
Then it works. It works. Is he the best child actor of all time?
Haley Joel?
For that one movie where he was real good and we all loved it, in The Sixth Sense. Because, like, he's, like, the only child actor that, like, 15 years after he grew up, mind you, we still bring him up in conversation as a child actor, even though he is a grown-ass man with a beard and a belly.
Yeah, I would say for some reason, a more popular movie would be Super 8, where Ellie Fanning is fantastic in.
I think she kind of looks like a velociraptor. That's my common.
She may look. I think she looks like Leonardo DiCaprio as a girl.
She does. Oh yeah. No, Critters 4. That Leo.
Yes, that Leo. The Growing Pains Leo. Anyway, Sean Kelly wrote in reply to Bill, salty.
That wraps that up. Wait.
Yes.
Joshua, read his thing, man.
Well, hang on. What do you think of Polanski from Bill?
I hate Roman Polanski. I can't judge Roman Polanski in a way that's fair to him. In a way that's fair to his art.
Oh, okay. I mean, if I separate him from his art, which I am capable of doing because I am one of the not too many that likes Jeepers Creepers from that.
He didn't make Jeepers Creepers, but a child rapist did.
Yeah, that was the comparison I was going for there.
Dude, that'll be an episode down the line that we ought to have is, can you separate a terrible person from the wonderful art that they made? Because there's so many people like that, like De Silva, who made Jeepers Creepers and
Funhouse.
And, even
Powder.
I was watching tonight The Naked Gun with O.J. Simpson in it, and it's like you can't watch Nordberg be funny anymore.
No, you
kind of
can't.
ruins it a little.
Yeah.
Or Chris Benoit wrestling. Since 2007, I haven't watched a single match with Chris Benoit. There are wrestling fans who listen to this who will get that. But
Joshua.
yes,
I'm bringing it back. Did you see that?
I know.
That's cool, huh? He says Jack.
Wait,
director Adam Wingard. Jack, Michael Keaton agreed with you on this, Jack. All right, he gets my fucking vote. Or even Kevin Bacon. Okay. Kevin Bacon can play deranged and crazy. See Stir of Echoes.
It's like Kevin Bacon.
Wendy, Courtney Cox, before all the plastic surgery.
Tastes like... Oh, never mind.
Danny, Skylar Gisando, Tommy from Halloween 2007.
Oh, no. That was the specific person that I said to not cast as a child.
Dick is played by Malcolm McDowell.
Oh, yes.
Manager, Michael Caine. And Grady, Crispin Glover.
Sure. He's not doing anything else.
He's just losing his arm in Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh, right. He was in Hot Tub Time Machine.
He was. I'll just go over this real quick. He said, I would ramp up Cabin Fever's elements and I'd also have it play out more from Danny's perspective and let it be more ambiguous as to whether it was supernatural or if the kid is losing his mind. It would be in a set in modern times, kid taken away from his daily use of technology due to alcoholic father's failings and poorly made decisions. So now he is stuck with his family in the Colorado mountains, and he actually has to start using his imagination. Then Willy Wonka appears. Now, it would be a slow burn, of course, and at the end, if the question I would want to have is whether or not if it's all in his head or if it happened. I would say yes and no, because that trope is something that's happened quite a lot in horror. Like, is it all in their mind or not? If it's done well, it could be done really well, and I think that Adam Wingard would be great. I really do love Adam Wingard as a director. I think with each movie he grows to be a better director. So, and that's a good thing, because it's terrible to see somebody take a step back. And if you see the guests, even though I love You're Next, but you could see where he's going with the guest, and then when he gets to Death Note and all that, he's going to do some great stuff. So I'm really happy for him. But what do you think, Nick?
I think it's good. I think it's a good hodgepodge of good elements in terms of director and cast, and Malcolm McDowell is in it. But I disagree with your choice on Danny, sir. Dude, that kid just no.
So what did Riley say?
Riley, this is the final horror remix that we got. Now, this one's kind of longish. I'm going to try and skim through it because I don't want to read the whole thing, but I appreciate that he wrote a dissertation on the subject. You guys, everybody listening should go to our Facebook page and scroll down and find the post for the horror remix and read through. We did have to truncate these a little and skip some parts, so you may want to go through and read these different ideas because some of them are quite fun.
There's some great reads on the Facebook page.
Riley wrote to us.
Thank you, by the way, Josh.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Riley. Director, Christopher Nolan. He's been prolifically Kubrick-esque. That's such a weird word. Kubrick-esque. You know what I mean.
How about Kubresque?
Kubresque. That sounds delicious.
Doesn't it?
So far in his career. Maybe not in terms of sheer style, but also in terms of diversity of the genres his films seem to operate within. I'll agree with that, especially after Interstellar. Definitely.
I haven't watched that.
His Jack Torrance would be Michael Caine, which he will explain later in the dissertation. We'll get there. Wendy would be Lindsay Lohan, making her return.
I really like that. I really like that.
Yeah.
She was a good actress at one point.
What? I don't know.
Girls. She was
don't
good
know.
in
I never
Mean
saw
Girls.
that. I think the only movie I ever saw Lindsay Lohan in was Machete, and she was only in for like 2 scenes.
Yeah.
Halloran would be played by Sean Astin, Samwise the Brave. He always seems to bring warmth, charm, and kinship. He does.
Yeah.
My only complaint about that is my editorial comment on that would be I think he's too friendly. Like there's something menacing about
he would be kind of Victor Salva-ish.
Mm-hmm. So Danny really doesn't matter to him, so which is fine. I said that's acceptable.
He said, as Jack articulated on this show.
Oh, I'm sorry. Trying to skip sentences that don't matter at all.
Yeah, don't matter.
So basically, rather than being a shot-for-shot remake of Kubrick's classic or a standard remake of the sci-fi mess that was King's brainchild, this would be visually extremely similar to Kubrick's original, while also containing entirely new plot themes and more relevant to today's society and culture. There are many shots inspired directly from 2001, but with Nolan's own vision. And while Interstellar isn't a remake of 2001, there is enough of Kubrick's influence that it borders on obvious. Now, that's totally true. If you saw Interstellar, it's like got obvious inspiration, but in a way that reimagines a lot of the visuals from 2001 and modernizes it to, like, I thought a lot of it looked like, telescope imagery that we have now, and I thought that was kind of a beautiful and wonderful thing about Interstellar. So I'm with him on this so far. There's a little bit left. The Shining remake would also hold true to Kubrick's own original vision, with Nolan's obvious talent and admiration for that aesthetic flair. I reiterate this point because it's crucial to what I'm about to say below: the concept plot. I don't know how many concept plots we actually got in these, so now I'm intrigued. Basically, rather than having to be a traditional nuclear family consisting of the husband, father, wife, mother, and the child, and the ensuing mania, this take would have an elderly grandfather, played by Michael Caine, who invites his drug-addled, struggling, unsuccessful fuck-up Casey Anthony whatever daughter to spend a few months with him while he takes care of the Overlook Hotel, and also her son, Caine's grandson, is little Danny, a boy with psychic powers and blah blah. He wrote blah blah. I'm not being rude.
Yeah.
The plot differences would be more relevant and relatable would be the single mother aspect, which is a modern idea, and how she struggles with a young, clueless parent raising this problem child due to his psychic visions. That's kind of like in Mama,
Mm-hmm.
Michael Caine would start out his kind, gentlemanly self and then go full Nicholson, which I kind of wonder, can Michael Caine do that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Have you seen The Hand?
No.
Okay.
All right. This would create a tremendous amount of uneasiness.
Have you seen him as Hoagie in Jaws the Revenge?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But he didn't go crazy enough.
No, he really didn't, but that movie goes crazy.
Yeah.
Did I see that movie? Yeah, I saw that movie. Or did I just see parts of it?
He goes crazy in Dressed to Kill. Spoiler alert, but you kind of know that already.
Nope, never saw it.
It's really good.
And Halloran can play a similar role as he did last time, so I kind of like this one.
This, I gotta hand it to Riley. As far as effort, wow. Congratulations, man.
Oops.
What? No, I mean, like, he put a lot of thought into that, man.
No, I meant oops, because I accidentally just deleted it from our Facebook feed, but I figured out how to bring it right back.
I have it.
No, I put it right back.
Oh, okay, good.
I was like, okay, I'll click this little X over. Oh, no!
The last comment at the end where he says, that's my remix concept, please don't rip me apart. We are not going to rip you apart. Because that's some damn good thinking. I mean, it's damn good thinking on everybody's part, to be honest.
Yeah, but do you have a favorite out of all the ones that we read?
I would still go with Sean's.
Ty West?
Sean's Ty West one, only because if I mean, this is just my own personal thing. If I don't know the actors that well, then I can jump into the movie more. Like if it becomes more of a star vehicle, I kind of am like, oh, okay, so this is their movie, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you had a movie with John Fonzarelli or whatever, and then you had or Jim Carrey in the role, you'd be like, oh, it's a Jim Carrey movie. Mm-hmm. So this way, if I don't know the actor that well, I would enjoy it more. And I think I would make the replacement of Dick with the Big Driz or Quentin Tarantino because I really love that, Danny. That was great. Man.
That was madness. That's pretty good. I don't actually have a favorite out of these because there's so many that I do like.
Me too. But I mean, that's if I just had to choose one. Like if you had a gun to my head right now, mm-hmm. I'd probably cry. But I would choose. I choose Sean's for that reason.
You know, there is one flaw with Riley's big change to the plot and all, making it more modern and stuff. Mm-hmm. Even though that's a perfect way to draw in a new audience, everyone would shit on it. Just because.
Well, everybody shit on the original Shining, too.
Right, which is ironic. But then everyone would suddenly say that the original was better. They changed it too much. You can't be doing that. Same thing that happens with everything else.
That's why they got to start making more original films. And get out of the retro thing, please. But anyway, Tarantino. I would choose.
Imagine Quentin Tarantino. Hang on. Imagine Quentin Tarantino in your head going, "Hey, you want some ice cream, man?" Like,
I just pictured Norm Macdonald saying it the way you fucking did that one.
Just
hey, kid, you want some ice cream?
Dressed up as the Colonel. Anyway,
it's good stuff, isn't it? Yeah. Fucking giants. Yeah.
So, what are we doing? Oh, let's talk about a movie of the week that everybody should go and see.
Yeah, it's directed by Sean Kelly's pick, Ty West.
And it's on Netflix right now.
It is on
Streaming
Netflix.
on Netflix. A House of the Devil from 2009-ish.
Let's go there.
The House of the Devil, a 2009 movie from Ty West, pretty much entirely his creation. He wrote it, directed it, produced it, everything. And this movie is a satanic cult movie of sorts that goes a little like this. In 1983, during the night of a full lunar eclipse, Samantha Hughes takes a babysitting job, surrounded by mysterious circumstances, before she finds out her client's terrifying secret. Did I spoil it by saying that it was a cult movie?
No. I think you hit it right on the head.
Yeah, I don't think it actually spoils anything to know that.
No,
because what happens in the movie is sort of separated from the idea of it. I mean, really, this movie is so ingrained in the 1980s satanic panic that if you didn't mention that, then it wouldn't really make a lot of sense. Now, this movie was made in 2009, and it's a period piece set in 1983. And just for the younger people who might be listening who don't know what the satanic panic was, basically, in the 80s, there were a couple of news stories about satanic cults hiding in America. One was about a daycare center in Florida where the kids went home and told their parents that they were in a satanic ritual and they had to have sex and do all these weird things, from the counselors at the daycare center. Completely made up. Completely not true at all. Also, that there was magic and they levitated the children and all this stuff. People believed it, though, and these people went to jail. Completely ridiculous, but it actually happened in America in the 1980s, and because of that, it turned into this nationwide sort of panic like we would have today about ISIS or about social media stuff, the knockout game. You know how things spread today. Things come in ebbs and flows nowadays, whereas in the 80s that came and stuck around for like the whole decade. People were afraid of Dungeons and Dragons, the game, if you can imagine that. Oh, if you play that, you'll conjure up real dragons. I remember being yelled at as a child by our neighbor's mom for playing with a Ouija board because if something's moving it, it's the devil moving it, you know?
Or if you played Dungeons and Dragons, you killed yourself, much like the Avatar people.
Oh, right. And in fact, wasn't Tom Hanks in a movie from the 1980s about like Dungeons and Dragons, like playing the game of death or something? Yeah, I mean, it was a weird period in American history that sort of, you know, this movie plays on the zeitgeist and of the psyche of Americans at the time. So it's a weird thing. I mean, I don't think that there were actually any real satanic cults that got exposed or revealed during the 1980s. If there were, nice, whatever. But I'm pretty sure that they still weren't levitating babies around. So, Jack, you want to talk about this movie? How do you feel about House of the Devil? When did you first see it?
That's a damn good question, because that's how I wanted to open my speech about House of the Devil. This is the very first movie I watched video on demand.
Really?
Yeah, on my Xbox. It was the very first one that was released in theaters, limited, and they decided to put it on Xbox Live. And I nearly poopied myself because I said, I really want to see that movie after I saw the trailer. And then I rented it right away. This is when I was living in California. I watched it on my projector, and I just loved every second of it. I watched it alone, naturally. People I was with were not horror fans. Doesn't matter though. Yeah, the movie just really spoke to me right away. It's funny that they say it takes place in 1983, but it feels like a 1979-80 movie. Just from the title alone, it doesn't feel, though. The funny thing is that the movie feels like a current film that just takes place during the 80s. I don't think it has the 80s, the 1980s feel, as far as it being like what everybody loves to. The word everybody loves these days is throwback. It's a throwback movie. This isn't a throwback movie. This is just about a period. So it would be a period piece that just looks really great. And, you know, there's no grindhouse stuff or anything at all. It's just a straight up horror movie. Yeah.
Like, how many movies come out nowadays that are trying so hard to recapture an 80s aesthetic and just, like, go way over the top?
Over the top because they weren't born in the 80s and they didn't live through them. And it's just, they only have what they see in, you know, on VHS or whatever, or I'm sorry, on DVD, or what they are told by other people, but they didn't experience the mood. Some people get it dead on balls accurate, but other ones are an overabundance of them are kind of fucking up the program, pardon the French. But the cast of this movie is fantastic across the board. I love just about every single person in this. There's only one person I'm like, what? Why are they? But they're in it. I would say that it's a pretty damn good movie. It is kind of slow at times, but once it ramps up, it goes pretty crazy, and that's something I really enjoyed about it. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the cast and all that in a little bit, but yeah, I just fell in love with this movie, and I said to myself, I'm like, wow, this is going to be the future of horror in a way where you don't have to go to the theater to see it, because theaters anymore are just becoming, bigger budget movies that horror has no place for, unfortunately. And that's not me saying that, that's the audience, the paying audience saying that, which I hope they come around soon and start paying for shit. But anyway, it's besides the point. But I really, really enjoyed it, and yeah, it's a really damn good movie.
I really love The House of the Devil 2.
End of the show. House of the Devil 2, what, the sequel?
What'd you say? No, I really love House of the Devil as well.
Mm-hmm.
I actually first saw it when Blockbuster Video was closing near me. I bought it for like $1 on DVD. And I mean, to buy something on $1 just because you thought the name was cool and the cover is cool and totally love it is amazing when it comes to horror movies, especially in modern times. I mean, you know, I actually love the old school elements and design of the movie. The opening scene really felt great. I mean, like when the title comes up on screen, it's not a title card. It's like a freeze frame, and the title "House of the Devil" just appears on screen, like superimposed there, like old movies.
Right.
And that immediately made me like laugh. At like not like at how funny it was, but like at how excited I was that I was watching a movie like this. Like me and my wife were like enthralled from that moment. Like we were sold on it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this movie is just great minimalist horror. It's great because they had nothing in terms of budget or in terms of resources at all, and they worked deep within their means. They didn't go outside of it and try to get some giant monster or something horrible CGI thing that they couldn't pay off, you know?
Right.
And I think that that's where a lot of like micro budget horror movies go wrong. Especially like, one coming to mind right off the top of my head is Harbinger Down, which came out this year. And I mean, first off, it was really crappy despite all the hype that movie had, but the CGI and the special effects were like terrible. Some of it was okay, but I mean, there was some really terrible CGI in it. And it's like, you guys were the lowest budget horror movie. Why would you do that? You were a Kickstarter film, in fact, I think. Mm-hmm. And this movie was made for nothing, and you can tell because they didn't try and like overload it with stuff. Instead, this movie relies on like creating suspense and tension by doing literally nothing at times. Like so much of the movie is just this girl just hanging out at the house. You know, she's babysitting. You don't see the charge that she's babysitting for quite some time. She's not babysitting a baby. She's babysitting an old woman. They just slowly reveal that there are terrible things in the house, in the rooms she is not going in. And that is what creates the tension. Just this girl kind of like hanging out, ordering a pizza, having fun, and meanwhile, like, you know, people are being murdered elsewhere in the house or around the house. And it's pretty shocking stuff, fairly graphic and gruesome in short bursts, which makes it even more intense because, you know, you're not expecting people to get like blown to bits in this movie, and it happens on occasion. It's really wonderful how ridiculously gory it is. And it also, like, even that, the gore in this movie is very much a throwback to that late 70s, early 80s look of like very ridiculously red blood.
Like Maniac.
Exactly what I was going to say was Maniac. Yes, I agree. And I mean, I think that that's where this movie is kind of brilliant. Mm-hmm. I mean, nothing happens, and it's wonderful. It's so suspenseful that it's like a slowly tightening noose around your neck. And if you've never seen this movie before, and this is the first you've heard people talk about it, go watch it on Netflix. We're not going to spoil it here, what happens in the movie, because there's no reason to. Go watch it on Netflix. Compared to the other stuff on Netflix, this is really in the upper tier.
Yeah. Definitely. I think in the future, give this movie about maybe another 5 years, and people will be talking about how great it is. As much as they complain about it. I actually went to screening of this in California after I'd already seen it with Ty West there doing a Q&A. And it was this, and then he chose Dead Alive after, which are two totally different movies.
Right.
For a good reason. I mean, you watch House of the Devil, you're kind of worn out. And then, Dead Alive comes on, and you just can't stop laughing, and it's just gory fun.
Like an electroshock after
right.
a good meal.
It's funny, during the Q&A, though, a lot of people were asking him about the 80s aesthetics and, how it felt to film an 80s movie, and he even said, I wasn't going for an 80s movie, I was just going for a movie set during that time. And that, I mean, I had thought that prior to actually seeing this Q&A. I was just like, yeah, that's what this movie is. It's not, because at the time, and this actually, in a way, if you think about it, House of the Devil kind of paved the way for all this retro 80s horror. Because at the time, it was one of the first movies to do that. Mm-hmm. There was no, you had Grindhouse that came out, 2 years prior too.
But it didn't go as far as Grindhouse.
But it didn't go as far as Grindhouse, exactly.
It didn't have to. It shouldn't.
Right. And that's not what the intention was in the first place, but it was kind of misinterpreted as. And, you go back to Grindhouse in 2007 when that movie bombed at the box office because he released it during Easter. They're not going to do the Scream Christmas release thing, but after that had happened, you have all the movies doing, hey, let's put cigarette burns in movies and shit, and sky's the limit. But besides that, though, it was cool to hear him talk about the movie. I mean, it's funny, he really didn't say too much about it, except for, random things like that. But I mean, the cast, I want to get back to the cast. I'll just go through them, we can comment. Jocelyn Donahue, I think, is cute as a bug's ear. Mm-hmm. She is damn good.
And she's very good at portraying an actress of that time. Like,
yes.
You feel like she's a woman out of time. And you see it again in Insidious 2, where she plays a part of, she's in the opening scene in Insidious mm-hmm. 2, where Lynn Shay's character goes to Patrick Wilson's character's mom, Barbara Hershey, right?
Yes, Barbara Hershey.
She plays young Barbara Hershey in Insidious 2. Mm-hmm. And she feels like she fits so well that it immerses you more in a movie when somebody can actually do that. So, I mean, that's metamorphic.
Especially Greta Gerwig. The two of them together, like Greta Gerwig in this, man, she is like, she looks very 70s, 80s.
Oh, absolutely.
And, but I mean, Greta Gerwig is a very fantastic actress as well. Tom Moon and Mary Warnoff. It's funny, Mary Warnoff is she is like a really big deal in like B-movie world. You can go all the way back to Joe Dante's Hollywood Boulevard, and which, by the way, if you're a horror fan, definitely check out Hollywood Boulevard. It has a cool slasher moment, and it's kind of like Red Queen. But Mary Warnoff, like you'll see her in a whole bunch of movies. You'll see her in like, I mean, Eating Raoul and Chopping Mall, playing the same role, and what is it, Night of the Comet? So many, but in this, man, she looks like an old hag. She is just like a miserable fucking person. And she plays it so well. And Tom Noonan is so, I guess, reserved and very, he is a creepy guy, but also very pleasant at the same time. You don't know how to read him.
You could smell him though, can't you?
Yeah, you can smell like that.
Like you could smell that musty.
Yeah, I was gonna say musty. Like he's like a walking library. Like AJ Bowen, by the way, I saw AJ in The Signal prior to this, and I was like, hey, is that Ryan Reynolds? But it wasn't. But he was really good in that. And then when I saw him in this, I was like, yes, because the guy just grabs your attention. He has a very commanding presence, and it definitely works very much in this film, especially during a moment that involves a car, I'll say.
Yes, okay.
I'm
No, I
saying it
think that
without
he's
spoiling
great
it. Yeah.
as yeah, no. I think he's great in fucking everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm just saying from this moment prior to this. I mean, he did Creepshow 3, which nobody wants to talk about that. Not AJ Bowen or anyone. But the crazy thing, well, not crazy, but the Dee Wallace as the landlady, I kind of felt like that was like I don't know. I felt kind of... I get the point, that she needed money and all that for rent and et cetera, blah, 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 blah. But it felt kind of like a shoehorned casting choice.
Of
Dee Wallace.
yeah.
It felt kind of like a... I don't know. Nothing against Dee Wallace or his choice. I mean, it was what's the point? I mean, why is she just in this in the beginning?
Kind of right. That's kind of like one of those. It's the horror con casting couch thing, you know?
Right.
Where there are the horror con regulars, and I didn't coin that phrase. It was actually from Bloody Good Horror. Go listen to them; they're good too. But it's the overuse of, and we've complained about it, me and Jack, for years, if you've listened to us prior to this show, about how the people from horror cons that you go and see all the time will show up in any movie that can afford them. And sometimes they phone it in, and sometimes they bring it, but normally they phone it in, and they're just there to put the name on the box, and so that Bloody Disgusting writes about your movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if this movie came out today, Bloody Disgusting would call it Dee Wallace's House of the Devil, even though she's in one scene.
Right.
You know that happens.
And the very weird casting choice. Well, not weird cast. I don't know why I keep saying that, but Lena Dunham is the 911 operator.
Right. That's a cameo because
cameo
she was
voice.
In Mumblecore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is a before she was famous thing, and she was in Mumblecore movies, and I guess that's how she became affiliated with Ty West and friends with him.
Right.
And that's how that happened. I don't know. She's also in another Ty West. In fact, she's in The Innkeepers for one scene, where she plays a barista, but, nobody knew who Lena Dunham was in 2009 or 2011.
No. And I mean, props to Larry Fessenden for producing this, because this is one of his glass eye picks, and I mean, they're all incestuous. You have him, you have Ty West, Adam Wingard, Simon Barrett. What's the other one? That guy, that thing, the one from You're Next.
The Adam Wingard.
No, they're the other.
Did you say that?
Yeah. The other guy, Swanberg. Swanberg.
Oh, yeah, Swanberg.
Yeah.
Man, all these people have been interviewed on this podcast that I've been listening to lately with, it's Bret Easton Ellis, the author of American Psycho. His podcast, very highbrow film discussion, and he likes a lot of these horror movies with Ty West. He talks to Joe Swanberg. And speaking of his interview with Ty West, he talked about how Larry Fessenden came to produce his stuff, so go listen to that.
Yes. I mean, without giving away this movie, I do have a couple of cool shots I want to talk about, but one of them will give away a big moment. So I will just say the AJ Bowen scene talking to
yes, that
somebody.
one.
Yes, that is. I watched the making of that's on your DVD. You should check it out. You should check out how they built something. I'm trying to go around things, people. I'm trying not to spoil the movie. I mean, granted, a lot of people listening more than likely have seen House of the Devil. There are people that don't like House of the Devil or Ty West. We're well aware of that. But yeah. Speaking of Fessenden and Glass Eye and Graham Resnick and all this kind of stuff, Nick, I just got, or I'm getting PS4 only to play Until Dawn, which they...
God damn!
which they wrote, and Larry's in the game as well. He's the guy with a flamethrower. That's his part. So
Awesome.
yeah. So anyway, I mean, I would say if you haven't seen this movie, if you're in the mood for a slow burn, good movie, and yeah, that word does get thrown around a lot, and I admit I do say it a lot, but it does give this. That's exactly what this movie is. It's like a boil. It's you put
Ty West hates it.
Yeah, you put a pot of water on the freaking stove and you start boiling it, and that's what happens. Well, if he hates it, stop fucking doing it. Just make a action-packed movie, you dumbass.
I remember My Chemical Romance were like, we don't consider ourselves an emo band. And it's like, you don't get to decide that.
No, you
Everyone
don't.
else decided it for you.
Yeah, it's like well, during the break, Nick and I were talking about Dice Man, and it's like Dice Man would say, well, I don't like people people call me filthy. That's not right. He doesn't say that, but it's the same type of thing, you know? Makes no sense. Mm-hmm. Yes, I would say as far as buying it, I would buy it because, shit, I'd buy anything. But I would rent it first and then buy. Nick?
Right, and it's on Netflix, and everybody has Netflix these days.
Yeah.
Even if you don't, get on somebody else's account and watch it.
Right.
Watch this movie. I think it's totally cool.
And if you see it for $1, pick it up. It's $1.
Right.
You know who else would have been a good director?
It's one of my happiest...
Okay.
What?
One of your happiest? No, please, go ahead.
Oh, no. It's one of my happiest bargain bin pickups ever. Probably the best movie I ever picked up for, like, nothing.
I don't know what we'd have to figure that one out. That would be a nice segment.
New episode.
I was gonna say, you know who would have been a good director, and I should have chose them instead for The Shining? David Cronenberg.
I don't know if I'd like him better. Well,
you gotta watch Shivers. Yeah.
eh.
Anyway, all right. So, I like turkeys.
Oh, yeah. Delicious
like
turkey.
Hey, turkey. I think we should bring that back. I think we should start calling people turkeys. That used to be a thing.
As an insult?
As an insult, yeah. It used to be a thing. I had a metal shop teacher. His name was Mr. Spry. He looked like Richard Pryor, and he sounded like Richard Pryor. And we'd walk in, and he's like, hey, turkey. He just called everybody turkey. And if you messed up, and if you burnt yourself or anything, he'd say, what are you doing, turkey? So, start calling each other turkeys, please. And don't give me credit for it. All right. Turkeys. Horror turkeys coming up. Everybody loves turkey.
I do. I ate some tonight because it was left over.
I had chicken tonight. Roy Rogers chicken.
Roy Rogers?
Roy Rogers.
Roy Rogers by you?
Yeah.
I'm legitimately excited. I can't even fake.
Yeah. People, again, sorry for the delay. There was a massive move, and Thanksgiving happened. So, sorry for the delay of this episode. And yes, there's a Roy Rogers near me.
I can't believe it.
Guess what else
I'm
is
so
near
excited.
me? Guess what else is near me, Nick?
Chick-fil-A?
Yeah. Guess what else is near me, Nick?
What?
A Wawa. Guess what else is near me, Nick?
Wow. I love their hot dogs.
Guess what else is near me, Nick?
What?
Sheets. Guess what else is near me, Nick?
We don't have these things in Jersey. We don't.
Everything I ever wanted is right down the street.
God damn.
Guess what else is near me, Nick? Wegmans.
Wegmans. Dude, it's like there's one Roy Rogers near me, but it's a half hour away, and there's always a half hour long line. And then there's one Chick-fil-A that's like 45 minutes in the opposite direction.
There is a Roy Rogers down the street a mile, and guess what's a half a mile from that? Another Roy Rogers.
What? Two Roy. So you could have a good one and a bad one.
I could.
Anyway.
Hey, turkey.
So stupid.
We're talking about turkeys.
So
everybody
turkey
loves
is something
turkey.
that you eat all holiday season long, starting at Thanksgiving, and then you eat your leftovers for a week or two. But you should probably only eat it for like 1 week. Don't go two. And then, you got your Hanukkah turkey, I assume, your kugel, and that doesn't have turkey in it at all. But it's really delicious. I miss kugel. Well, I said I miss kugel, and I'm not going to explain what that meant. I was never Jewish, but I knew a Jew. But anyway, what the hell was the other thing I did? Oh yeah, Christmas. Have a turkey then. In fact, I don't know. We actually have another turkey in the freezer just in case.
But we're not talking food turkey.
Oh shit!
We are talking movie turkeys. These are movies that the consensus of the masses say that these movies are terrible and they suck. But you know what? Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has assholes. Everybody stinks. Their assholes stink. And, sometimes you need a dumb turkey to enjoy. And some of these movies that we reached out to our listeners to give us their turkeys. Because it is the holiday season. It's not Thanksgiving nor Christmas right at this moment. We're in between the two. So rather than do a Thanksgiving turkey show or a Christmas turkey show, we're going to do a holiday turkey show.
Perfect. Everybody understands what we're doing now.
Yeah, you got it? Okay.
So at any rate, we had people write into us on Facebook and Twitter, just like with our horror remixes. What were your personal horror movie turkeys?
I got a couple I want to read.
Start with the Twitter ones.
I'll start with the Twitter ones. I have I got at Josh McMillan 88. He says, I gotta go with the Wrong Turn franchise. The first was amazing and the sequels were so terrible that they are entertaining. I wouldn't say the first one is amazing. I enjoyed it though. It does have some good kills. The second one, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. I like the second one best as well. Yes. I've seen like part 1, part 2, and then I think part 4, but not all of it. I
have the first 5.
Ooh.
I got them from a video store that was going out of business.
How many are there now? 6?
6, and they're coming out with a 7th.
Of course they are. It's going to be a prequel to the sequel.
I think one of them was already a prequel. I think 4 was a prequel. Yeah, Bloody Beginnings. I think that's... I can't remember. There are a lot of them. Anyway, I would... hey, dude, Wrong Turns... I haven't watched 3, 4, or 5, or 6, or 7 yet. But I can understand the... some people can like them. You know what? The Wrong Turn franchise is kind of like the... I would say the Puppet Master franchise of this decade. Or these decades.
You would say that, but then you got to think there's probably something that is actually worse than that has just as many sequels that we just don't know of and we'll know of in like 5 years when they're in the bargain bin. There's
the Witchcraft series. There's the Amityville series.
That nobody like even talks about or watches, but Witchcraft is up to like, what, 8 movies now?
They're like close to James Bond.
Oh. Dude, they just put one out after the other, and it's like I pay attention to all the horror sites. I've been a horror podcaster for the past 4.5 years almost. I don't hear anything about these movies, and yet they continue to come out. And where do they go?
Right.
Anyway, I'm not talking about Wrong Turn. I'm talking about Witchcraft. Who's next?
At FX Guy, 1969. My favorite bad movies are Night of Horror, Fiend, Don't Go in the Woods, Home Sweet Home, Hard Rock Zombies, and there was a mess up there. I was gonna say I gotta go with the Wrong Turn franchise. The first was amazing. It's like, wow, that sounds familiar. We'll go through each of these here. Night of Horror, I have not seen. I believe that the Hysteria Continues covered that on their podcast, and they said there's a lot of night, but not too much horror in that movie. But I mean, I'm not going to comment on something I haven't really seen, except I'll check it out because I love turkeys. How about you, Nick?
I've never seen it.
Me neither. Fiend. Nope. Another one I have not seen. My obscure horror hipster cred has gone out the window. You beat me, FX Guy 1969. But Fiend I have not seen, and I'm not trying to rhyme there. Don't Go in the Woods, though. Oh my God, Don't Go in the Woods. Now I'm going to start talking some shit. I believe this is the Don't Go in the Woods Alone. Yes. Fucking yes. yes. This movie is... Nick, you have not seen Don't Go in the Woods Alone?
No.
Okay.
I've seen Don't Go in the Woods, the Onofrio one.
No,
the
that's
Vincent D'Onofrio one, but...
You saw the real bad one. Man, if only we had planned the show, I could have had you say a line from the movie, which was, if I had said, Nick, have you seen Don't Go in the Woods? You would have said, I'm sorry. That's the line. The movie is it's just a kill after kill in the woods. A guy in a wheelchair gets thrown down the hill after rolling up the hill. The whole movie. It's ridiculous. It's very ridiculous. Vinegar Syndrome has released a Blu-ray of it. I recommend picking that puppy up. Speaking of Hysteria Continues, they do a commentary on it, so it's definitely a really, really good. It's a terrible fucking movie. Don't. You gotta understand that. Sorry for the F-bombs, people. Home Sweet Home. That's the one with Body by Jake. Nick, it's a Thanksgiving movie.
He was in a movie?
Yeah, Body by Jake is the killer, and
what?
Yeah, Body by Jake is the killer, and it's got one of the most annoying characters in it. His name is, well, I'll give you an idea of what he is. He's dressed like Kiss with a like a fro, and he just walks around with a guitar and an amplifier playing guitar, and just like interrupting his parents having sex and just being annoying. And his name is The Mistake.
Mistake.
The Mistake, yes. It's a mistake that this kid was in it. If he does get killed, which he might, it's the best part of this movie. I totally agree with. It's one of those that you would enjoy on a ridiculous level. It's not like laugh out loud kind of funny. It's just very. It's kind of an annoying movie, but still watchable and entertaining. So I get that. But Hard Rock Zombies, Nick, you have seen Hard Rock Zombies.
I love Hard Rock Zombies.
No, you don't.
There's no description that could possibly suffice for this movie because it involves a rock band. That much is true. Mm-hmm. And then from there are zombies, there are Nazis, There are trolls who sit around and count gold coins for some reason. It is such a ridiculous movie. The rock band dude, he looks like Freddie Mercury, kind of, with like a poodle haircut. Like he's got like the same haircut that poodles have. And,
like a lot of girls in my high school.
What? Yeah, real poofy. And they still play rock shows after they're dead. And my God, that movie defies description. It's wonderful. You let me borrow it years ago.
Mm-hmm. I did. And I mean, I liked it I liked it, but I didn't love it. It just felt like a 3-hour epic to me, and it was like an hour and 30 minutes or something like that. I don't know. It might have been the mood I was in. I don't know, but it's one of those that I should love, and I probably will on second viewing. Maybe I was like looking at Twitter and stuff at the time. Who knows? I guess I've actually stopped doing that during movies. I'm good like that. Okay, Nick, you got stuff. Give me some stuff. Give me some turkeys. Feed me turkeys.
What?
Feed me turkey.
Feed you more. At B. Elassiter, he wrote Starship Troopers, which I guess is sort of horror adjacent.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, that movie I've actually never seen all the way through. I've seen parts of it, but different people feel differently about it. That's for sure. I
enjoy it.
Yeah?
I think I it's one of the first DVDs I had, and I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't say I'd watch it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I even got the one sequel where they brought Casper Van Dien back, the Marauder or something. I still haven't watched it because I'm just like, I mean, it's got, the original is Clancy Brown, Neil Patrick Harris, Jake Busey, Dina Meyer topless, Denise Richards not topless, and Casper Van Dien. So I mean, it was cool. But I don't know.
The CGI is terrible.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Now, I mean,
well, yeah.
17 years later, but whatever.
Yeah.
To be expected, I guess. At Y2 Stump says, I've watched House of the Dead more than anybody should have. Don't judge me. Now, I'm going to judge you because it's Dr. Uwe Boll, and it's not even one of his better ones. It's one of his really boring, worse ones. I mean, not the worst. Maybe it's about in the middle of his, filmography, but it still really sucks. I remember, now this is before, this was pretty much the first big Dr. Uwe Boll movie, and it just when I first saw it, I was like, I can't believe this movie is this bad. It's so terrible. Now you watch Dr. Uwe Boll movie and you're like, oh yeah, it's Dr. Uwe.
This is the other one after Alone in the Dark that came out to theaters, right? Or was this before Alone in the Dark?
I think this was before, but I mean, does it even matter?
No, it doesn't matter. I gotta say, well, it matters because it's like, well, if one of them got released and people didn't go, why didn't he get to make another one?
Well, actually, the answer to that is he makes all. He's a German.
Oh yeah, and, that's right. He makes them all himself.
Well, no, he makes them through his own studio, but the German government gives out huge grants to German film companies that allows them to make their movies. So if he goes in with $50,000 of his own dollars or whatever, they'll give him $500,000 to go make a movie, which is ridiculous, or more in a lot of cases if you've seen his garbage.
You want to hear something exciting?
No. Oh yeah.
House of the Dead is a movie that I didn't watch.
Don't.
That's the reason why. The only reason I wanted to watch it was because Ellie Cornell from Halloween 4 was in it.
That is the stupidest reason to watch the awful movie. That's terrible.
I know, but I just yeah. Next, what else we got?
Let's jump over to Facebook.
Okay, let's do that. Hi,
Go ahead.
Facebook. Oh, well, hang on a second. Let me get over to Facebook. I'm typing in FAC. Oh, wait, it came right up, Nick. And then we're going to go to Jack and Nick Horror Show.
Right. I mean, this is what everybody at home should be doing as well.
Yes.
Go there and read through the list. Give likes to the ones that you do like so that we can see those numbers go up. Like our page while you're at it, because if you don't, we're dead.
Yes.
We will die. We will be electrocuted for not having enough likes on Facebook. That's a possible dystopian sci-fi future that we might live through in our lifetime. Think about that.
Franzi says killer clowns from outer space.
May I reply?
What are you going to do? Knock my block off?
Killer Clowns is a great movie that holds up even now as a campy 80s piece of ridiculousness.
That movie and Once Bitten were the horror movies that were always on in the afternoon when I got done school. Or late afternoon.
Absolutely.
The PG-13 horror movies that just kept on coming on over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like when I was a little kid, I was afraid to watch Killer Clowns, but as I got older, I was like totally in love with it. I mean, I was really afraid when I was like 8 or 9 and Killer Clowns would be on in the afternoon. We'd try and watch it, me and my brother and my neighbor friend, and we would have to like hide our faces behind pillows because the clowns are horrific to a small child. But, you know, as we got older, it's a movie that we all grew to love because it's wonderful.
Agreed. Yes.
Next up, Brian, he said Munchies. Now, Munchies came out of that weird period of small creatures that were killing everybody, where you had, like, ghoulies. I think it was, like, everything was sort of Gremlins wannabes. Like, you had ghoulies and critters, and you had Munchies.
Yes. And
Any
ghoulies...
opinion on the Munchies?
No, because I refuse to watch it. I refused.
Me too.
I refused to watch it back then because I saw the poster and I'm like, "Wow, this is just a ripoff of both Gremlins and Ghoulies mixed together," and it looks really bad. The poster didn't sell me, even though he's looking up a skirt. No.
Right, and even though we're like making fun of like the movies, we're not making fun of the people who chose them necessarily because. I mean, everybody here has their stupid movies they love, including me and Jack. And I mean, you're pretty much hearing every movie that we've seen. 90% of these. That makes us the idiots.
Speaking of, Kelly says The People Under the Stairs.
I think that movie's super boring.
I wouldn't. No. Oh, no. Fuck you. Pardon the F-bombs again, people. Sorry. It's exhaustion. Nah, dude. People Under Stairs, I really enjoy. I wouldn't call it a turkey because it made a lot of bank. Granted, people think it's a very odd Wes Craven movie. And it is. I think it's both fun and, a lot of his movies, his earlier stuff, like, what is it? Last House on the Left and Hills Have Eyes, they have undertones to them, and they're not too they're not in your face, but they're not too buried either. Where, you have the elite. Let's just call it what he intended. The Republican couple versus the inner city people. And they have all the money and hide all the money and put people in their stairs. And
look, even if that's what he was going for, it's not executed well at all.
It is. I think it is. And fuck you.
Stupid.
Pardon my French.
Stupid. Stupid. I hate them.
I really enjoy it. I think it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie in a crowd for sure. I saw it in a packed theater in Springfield, Pennsylvania. And that theater no longer exists. But it was completely sold out. And so there. But I enjoy it. So there. Anyway, next.
Casey has recommended Neon Maniacs.
Yes. Casey.
Have you seen it?
Have I seen it? I have the Blu-ray. Yes, it's funny. Neon Maniacs is like a Spike Lee movie where it has no ending because they ran out of money. So it just like ends. The synth score as well as the theme song that this movie opens up with. If there are any Earth, Wind, and Fire fans out there, this song,
like where this is going.
This song sounds like Earth, Wind, and Fire song. I can't remember the name of it. It's like do the best. It's like it doesn't fit this movie at all. It's terrible. It stars. Here's the funny thing. Remember Friday the 13th Part 4? Nick?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you. You
Oh,
cut out there. For
oh,
a
I'm
second.
sorry. Do you remember Friday the 13th Part 4?
Yes.
Okay. You know the guy that takes one of the twins away from what's his name? Dead fuck. Anyway, the guy with the cap that takes one of the twins, and the girl gets upset. She goes out on the raft, gets stabbed, and she's like, but that guy with the hat, that's the star. Okay. That's the star of Neon Maniacs. But the lead girl is Roxy from Fatal Attraction. Do you remember Fatal Attraction, Roxy? The lesbian lover of Sharon Stone? Sharon Stone. But Neon Maniacs...
No, I can't remember erotic thrillers of the 90s very well. They all kind of blend together.
Neon Maniacs is... Those two are people that kind of like and know each other. She goes off with her friends into this park, and the Neon Maniacs rise. They're summoned by these tarot cards or some stupid reason. Let's just say they just show up, and they're each their own character. So you have like Doc, and you have Sword Guy, and all this, and they just come and annihilate her all her friends. One guy's getting a blowjob and gets his head sliced. Or I'm sorry, yeah, he gets his head sliced off while no, I can't remember. I think the girl gets killed, and as he's getting the blowjob, and then he gets his head sliced off in that order. Doesn't matter. People die, and it's great. And it's just it makes sense, but then it doesn't make sense, and it just goes into this. There's a battle of the bands with your star that happens in the middle of all this, where all this girl's friends died, and then she's like, "Okay, you're cute. I'll hang out with you at this battle of the bands." And then, of course, the Neon Maniacs show up, and they start killing people, and the cops don't believe them. The movie's a fucking mess, to be honest with you, but it's a very good mess. It's one of those that the synth score is really good. It's got that the Neon Maniacs thing. It's got beautiful colors, even though it doesn't have to have beautiful colors. It's a fun movie. So yeah, sorry, I went off on Neon Maniacs, but I would recommend it. Code Red is re-releasing the DVD of it soon. So anyway, go on. Sorry.
You go.
I don't drive that. Our good friend Mike Merriman says, Ghoulies 2, Critters 2. I heard a good title for Ghoulies 2. You know what it is?
No.
Ghoulies 2, People 0.
whole human race loses to ghoulies. Those both are the aforementioned Gremlins wannabe movies, and the only Critters movie that I would even recommend is Critters 4, just because it's so like they're all dumb. They are all dumb,
but I think Critters 2 is better than 1.
See, but I mean, like, even when you're saying better,
it's
like, does it matter if it's better?
Yeah, it's like, well, this poop came out whole, and this one came out half.
Right,
I mean,
like, how big was the cow pie you stepped upon?
Yeah, Ghoulies 2 is the same way. I think it's a more enjoyable film than the first one. The first one felt kind of rushed, and they kind of didn't know exactly where they were going. It seemed.
I can't even remember the difference between Ghoulies movies in my brain. Like,
I just
all
know
I
that
can see is Ghoulies.
Yeah. Anyway, but thank you for the picks, man.
Kieran says, Demon Warp.
Oh yes, it's funny. Lauren and I just watched this again.
Mm-hmm.
Demon Warp has what's his name? George Kennedy. Speaking of Naked Gun, his daughter gets taken away by Bigfoot. And then there are these teens that show up, and it turns into a sci-fi Bigfoot possession movie.
Possessed by Bigfoot.
It's one of those movies that you'll watch and you'll really enjoy it because it's so ludicrous. And then after you just watched it, you totally forget about it, except for like a few key moments. And then when you watch it again, you're like, oh, I'm watching this all over again. Because I don't remember any of this shit. So that's what Demon Warp is. I like it. I've watched it multiple times. And every time I watch it, I'm like, man, I don't remember this happening at all.
I do like Sasquatch, but I don't know. I'd watch anything.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
By the way, I'll watch any crap movie. It's not like I wouldn't watch a crap movie.
If you like Sasquatch, Nick, it might be on YouTube. The listeners, it might be on YouTube. Night of the Demon. Not the early Night of the Demon, the 1950s one with the demon on the train track that comes rolling. Not that. This is a Bigfoot movie. Just stick with it. It has some great moments in it where a guy is taking a piss and Bigfoot rips his dick off. That's one moment. But when you just gotta wait to get to the end is the payoff. Okay? So if you get a chance, I highly recommend checking that out. It's a slow-going movie. It's badly acted and all that. It's horrible print. But my God, I can't stop watching it. It's got one of the best sex scenes, you name it. It's really cool movie. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to ruin it. It fits in with the turkeys. It's definitely a turkey.
Look, you had me at Bigfoot possession movie.
Oh, that's Demon
Next
Warp.
up.
Demon Warp. Next up, Craig Wilkinson says Tusk. Tusk was a turkey.
Tusk. I love Tusk. I think it's better than a turkey. I think it's a good movie. I love it. And I don't care what anybody says about it. I love it.
Can you imagine if he turned him into a turkey?
Then it would have been probably a much dumber movie, which is weird because he turned him into a walrus. So if you don't know what Tusk was, Kevin Smith's movie from, I believe, last year or the year before. Actually, it was... I don't care. It's a wonderful movie. Go watch it. It's you'll probably hate it. Most people tend to hate it. It's about a guy who turns a guy into a walrus.
I think Michael Parks is great in it, but the tone is kind of all over the place.
Nope, it's a wonderful movie, and Jack is wrong.
I'll take that, and I'll also take Daniel Adolfson says Mardi Gras Massacre. I stopped watching that one, I think 25 minutes in. because I got bored, but I will finish it. Not tonight, though.
Now, is this one an old one or a new one?
It's an older one. Yeah, it's 1980s, early 80s, late 70s, early. I think, yeah, early 80s. It just, I don't know. It didn't appeal to me at the moment, and I was just. It's one of them times where I'm like, okay, next.
Yeah, I felt like it was I felt like there was a movie recently also called something like that, but I might be thinking of Jersey Shore Shark Attack for some reason, or Jersey Shore Massacre or something. I don't know. Oh, by the way, Jersey Shore Shark Attack, not a good turkey. That's a Roy Rogers turkey.
Now, Roy Rogers chicken is delicious, by the way.
I would eat Roy Rogers right now.
I would eat Roy Rogers turkey. Oh my gosh! And they also have the anyway. What? Yeah, Brian says, "Oh man, I love Neon Maniacs." So that's another one for Neon Maniacs.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
Terry Cartwright says, "Maximum Overdrive," the Stephen King adaptation of the Killer Cars.
I love Maximum Overdrive. Reason is, that was the very first Fangoria magazine that I purchased myself because I had a big green goblin on the front cover. And then when I opened it up and I saw the gore, I was like, whoa, this is going to be a great movie. And then I watched it and I saw that they cut all that gore out. And actually, speaking of Sharon Stone, she's in Maximum Overdrive in the beginning, on the bridge. Maximum Overdrive, though, yeah, Nick, you've seen that Maximum Overdrive, yes?
Oh, yeah. I've seen it. In fact, I think I saw it on TNT as part of when Joe Bob had Monster Vision on TNT.
Yes, and the crazy thing is, the night that they showed that, he says it on the episode. That's the same time that Stephen King got hit by the car. The same exact day that they aired the Maximum Overdrive Monster Vision. It's the same. It's the same exact day that Stephen King was hit by the car. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's weird.
Crazy.
Well.
Anyway.
But anyway, yeah, that movie is goofy. Is probably the first adjective that you would put forth on that one. All cars kill all people. That concept is goofy. No matter what horror you tried to cook up with it, no, it's goofy first, son.
Sean says Frankenfish. I have not seen Frankenfish.
Now, Frankenfish I actually did see. In fact, I reviewed it a couple of years ago when I was a guest on a podcast called Rotten Rantings, which is still out there. The podcast has ended, but you could probably go find that episode. We talked about killer sea creatures. For some reason, I agreed to go on Katie Rotz's show and talk about 3 killer sea creature movies. And even though I really don't like sea creature movies, Frankenfish is notable for several reasons, if you can imagine. It's pretty much like Sci-Fi Channel quality, CGI of a Frankenfish. And it's just as dumb as you'd expect in some parts. But here's why it's notable. It was written by Simon Barrett, who is part of that clique of horror directors we just talked about. He worked on VHS 1 and 2. He wrote he's a writing partner of Adam Wingard, however you say his name. I don't care. This was like one of his first movies that he wrote that actually got made. And because of that, there are certain bits of the movie that are strangely better than any sci-fi movie you've ever seen. And the reason that this is the most notable movie, this movie always, I bring it up whenever people are like, yeah, but what movie is there that, the black guy lives at the end? In this movie, the black dude is the hero, and his black girlfriend also lives all the way through the whole movie. What?
No, the demons. The black guy lives.
Okay, we're talking about Frankenfish. The black couple lives in this movie. It's a movie with people of color being the heroes, which you don't see a lot in horror because somewhere along the line they were like, nope, we're going to kill all the black people in these movies. Okay.
Frankenfish.
Strangely progressive movie in a place you would not have expected it. Last up, Andre.
Didn't Simon Barrett write Dead Birds as well, or something about birds?
He wrote something else. I don't remember what, though.
I don't know. I can't.
He also wrote that. Didn't he write that terrible 24 Exposures movie? Or was that...
I don't think there was a script there.
No, but someone had a concept of what the movie was, and I think that it was him. At any rate, yeah, I know that was a poop shoot. That's not a turkey; it's a poop shoot. Andre, our final turkey movie.
Not our final turkey. Andre, you're not a turkey.
No, our final movie that is a turkey and therefore enjoyable on some level. Personally, I wouldn't call it crap, but some people do. Bad Taste. I love it. Maybe an idea for an episode? Hey, don't you push me around. Don't you schedule my show. No, I'm kidding. As a special Christmas gift for me, it would feel like I'm born again. Okay. Bad Taste. I never saw Bad Taste, but I've heard sound clips from it because, and this is a really weird thing, maybe I did see Bad Taste. Oh wait, no, I did see Bad Taste, and I heard sound clips from it. It's on this metal album that I reviewed on Devil Horns podcast when that was a thing. We reviewed this metal band whose name I'm forgetting. They're Australian or New Zealand. Oh, Blood Duster. Throughout the album, they just as their interstitials and filler between songs, there's just sound clips from Bad Taste for whatever reason. And I was not particularly a fan of Bad Taste.
I'm not that well versed with Bad Taste. It's one of those that I rented way young and watched it, and I'm like, meh. It's kind of like Redneck Zombies. Mm-hmm. I rented that because my friends were like, "Oh, you got to watch it," and they thought it was one of the worst movies they've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And I watched it, and I'm like, "Why is this good?" And then I just stopped.
Yeah, honestly, Bad Taste. I watched it when I was in college, and I just was not. I had this one professor in college who, he was dating one of my friends. He wasn't that much older than us. He was maybe late 20s, early 30s. Mm-hmm. And he loved horror movies. In fact, I got extra credit on one of my exams once because all the extra credit questions in this developmental psychology course were about the movie Carrie. And I did well in his class because of that. I didn't do that well. I got a B, but it's because I didn't buy the book, and I don't know. I didn't really do too well in college because I didn't care. Anyway, he gave me lots of movies that were ridiculous that he had on videotape to watch, and Bad Taste was one of them. But I don't even remember Bad Taste very well. I just remember it being kind of grotesque, and that's
what the movie was, basically, a show.
Yeah, exactly. And when you have a movie that's particularly grotesque, just for the sake of being grotesque, you have to be in the right mood to watch that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or else you're going to get kind of...
Yeah.
It gets repetitive and boring. That's where I'm at with August Underground movies.
Right, exactly. Exactly what I mean. Because it's you can't just go, well, hey, it's a Tuesday night here. I'm just going to throw on August Underground. No, you got to have a reason to watch August Underground or anything like that.
So, thank you very much, everybody, for your feedback. We'd love to hear from our listeners. So, thank you very much. I mean, as far as your own turkey, before we close up this segment, what kind of turkey do you want to talk about, Nick?
Dude, it's hard for me to pick a favorite bad movie. And I've said this before, just because I watch so many bad movies that don't even stick with me, and some of those that do, and I totally love them. One of the ones I always point to as being one of my very favorites is Terra Firma, which not quite horror, but it's a trauma movie, and it falls into the same problem as Bad Taste, where it's like so grotesque at times that you have to be in the mood to watch a movie like that, you know?
Definitely.
But I totally love it, and it's totally goofy, yet at the same time poignant and makes sense of itself.
Yeah. And even it makes fun of Seinfeld very well, too.
Yeah, it makes fun of a lot of stuff, and because it like it's a good satire piece on top of the fact that it's a grotesque movie. I mean, the first thing that happens in that movie is someone walks up to a pregnant woman and rips out her fetus. Like that is like, here's what we're doing with this fucking movie, you know?
I love that movie.
Yeah, in fact, you were the first person to recommend it to me years and years ago. So thank you.
You're welcome, Nick. I would choose Night Train to Terror, not just because my Twitter profile picture is our favorite singer from that movie. We may talk about that movie on a later show. But just recently, I'm in the same boat as Nick. Just forewarning, there will be a lot of turkeys that we both love that we're going to be talking about on this show. So we don't want to spoil all of them on here. But one I'll mention, I'll give him a little bit of a plug, I guess, is Slasher Video just released a bunch of, what's his name? Ted Pryor movie, or David A. Pryor's movies, but Ted Pryor's in them, his brother. David A. Pryor just recently passed away, and he made Deadly Prey, and just recently Deadliest Prey, and Sledgehammer, Killer Workout, a bunch of really big turkeys, let's just say, turkey movies. And I just watched Killer Workout again, which is also known as Aerobicide, which, watching it, I didn't even realize that both the, same people that are in Deadly Prey, one being the brother or not, are in fact in Killer Workout. And I've seen Killer Workout, and I always get that one and Death Spa mixed up. And it's a really enjoyable little crappy movie. And it's got some of the best aerobic montages, and it's got some great music. It's just it's a fun little movie that kind of takes itself way too serious, but it knows that it's ridiculous. So if you can get into that kind of mind frame, you might enjoy it. A lot of people don't like it. The Slasher Video releases of them on Blu-ray are standard VHS rips, and people are very mad about it, but I'm like, hey, if that's the only thing they have to go by, at least you have a Blu-ray of it. And sometimes I like watching those movies like that. I like watching VHS rips, so you can get the feel of renting the movie and watching it.
Yeah, but it depends on the movie, definitely.
But yeah, definitely an enjoyable film. I'm not going to go too far with too many turkeys, as well as we have already mentioned. So that's it for turkey season. We are done, Nick.
Oh, thank God.
The turkey is done, Nick.
Yes. Well, we made it to the end of this episode. We want to remind everybody to please subscribe, like, and share this episode on Facebook, Twitter, whatever you use. Come find us on Facebook and Twitter, and I think on Tumblr as well, and on YouTube as well. Wherever you want to follow us, just let people know we exist, so that we can grow this beyond what we hear now.
Yes, do that. And you can follow me at JacobK666. Nick, how do those people follow you?
On Twitter, I'm at New Jersey Nick. That's the best place to find me. Otherwise, on YouTube, just look up New Jersey Nick, and you'll find my gaming channel. And I play a lot of video games, especially horror retro gaming stuff. So check me out.
All right. Thank you very much for listening. Next episode, we're gonna do, I guess, a holiday episode. I don't want to act like I know what I'm doing.
Right, we don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, so hopefully we're going to get out to theaters and see a certain movie. Otherwise, we might not.
Right, yeah. But we will do something with you all again. So pay attention to us on Facebook and Twitter if you can. If you can't, if you don't get to it, it's okay. We forgive you. We'll get you on the next one. But yeah, definitely we love to hear the feedback. And please go to iTunes, give us 5 stars. Forget about the 4s. Give us 5. Just so people can start, listening to us. I mean, we're paying for the show for you guys to listen to, and we definitely would love the repayment of just giving us 5 stars on iTunes. If you feel like writing a review, cool. If you don't, just give us 5 stars. It's cool. All right. Thank you very much. Take care. Good night.
Bye.
I'm going to Roy Rogers, Nick.
Fuck you.
I got it in my fridge. You want some?
I'm so excited.
I'll take a picture and I'll send it to you. You'll salivate in your sleep. All right. Good night, everybody.
Goodbye.